Coach Smith, Middle Smith High School. Coach Montis Lash in charge of the Eagles football team. I think this is the second year now for Coach Lash back as the head coach. He was here as a player before that many years ago with Coach Tony McKee. Got the Tony McKee mentality going and building the team. Coach, you want to take this from me in the SOS, the same old Smith, to be kind of a different Smith, a better Smith. What are you doing to make this team better this year? How's the practice going so far, and how's all that plan coming along?
The key is really build on kind of what we started last year with changing the culture, trying to reshape it. We made some coaching changes, some additions and some losses of kids. Just trying to create just a positive environment, the coaching mentality, being tough, being physical, being fast, getting stronger. That's really kind of where we are. We've been kind of quiet this offseason, just kind of more so working in silence this offseason and just trying to get over that hump from where we were last year, from being 4-6 to challenging for a playoff spot this year.
Best thing about Smith, I guess, in the offseason being quiet is a good thing for you guys. Not changing coaches is good. Keeping the same coach a couple of years now, that's a good thing. That's a step in the right direction. And like you say, you guys 4-6 last year.
Yep.
So if you're 4-6, you're only going to get away from 500. If I'm a coach, if I get to 500, I've got something to work with there. If you get this team to 500, you got the building blocks, the foundation's been laid.
Yeah. Like I said, we were one game off from 500 last year. That would have probably put us in the playoffs. Just looking at how things kind of played out. So the goal this year is to win more than 4 games, which should put us in the playoffs. We didn't make a ton of coaching changes. I'll be back calling plays this year, coaching quarterbacks. DC returns. Got some Smith alumni that's on the coaching staff as well. Shrunk down the coaching staff a little bit, make it more personable with the kids and kind of build relationships. Try not to have too many guys on the sidelines and just kind of hone in on doing and coaching the little things to help get us over that hump.
And you said you went 4-6 last year. You probably know which team or which couple of teams you should have beaten, and you would have beaten those guys. You would have been over that 500 mark.
Yeah,
and you probably going after those teams hard again this year.
There's definitely a couple games that I got circled on the calendar that I think got away from us. And I think you just kind of take that with, when you take over a program, when you're rebuilding, when you're teaching kids how to win, when you're teaching coaches how to win. Sometimes that can get away from you early on when things don't go your way. Like I said, this year it's kind of been so focusing on how do we win, how do we play through adversity, and that's what's going to help get us to the playoffs.
What part of your game, as far as your team overall, have you got to improve the most in? Is it quarterback? Is it the line? Is it receivers, running backs? The offense, defense? Where you got to improve the most, you think?
I thought we were already good defensively. We were young last year and returned a bunch of those guys, which was great. Next to Dudley, because I'm not going to take nothing away from those guys they got at receiver, I think we may have one of the best talented groups at the skill position. And I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what they do with the ball in their hands. So for us, it's been how can we keep it simple and allow these guys to make plays in space.
So I guess the key is get the ball in the receiver's hands and then see what they can do after they catch it.
Absolutely. We'll be probably 2 quarterback system this year with 2 good athletes versus just a pure drop back quarterback. So offense will look a little bit different, but trying to make it to where we can play fast, we can keep the ball in our receivers and backs' hands and allow them to make plays for us without overthinking.
Yeah, with those receivers being as talented as they are, I know you don't want to get that offense say we're going to really oversimplify this thing. Simple enough. You got to find ways to get the ball in their hands. You can also, I'm sure, probably run a few running plays. Just get it in their hands, let them run the ball. Not even on the pass play. Just hand it off to them, let it go in, around, go jet sweep, and if you can catch us. If you can't, we're gone.
Yeah, we'll definitely be a run-first team this year. We'll still air raid. We'll throw the ball around, but if anybody knows me or they know my time from calling plays, I look at screens, bubbles, jets, the same way I look at handoffs. So if I can simplify it and put the ball in their hands to make easy plays, that's what I want to do. Keep the quarterback from having to make a ton of bad decisions and allow his guys to make plays around him, because at the end of the day, it still makes them look good.
Back in Coach McKee's day, he always had that real big back. I never forget that one that they had called the bus. The bus was...
that was JJ. Yes, sir. Went to A&T, one of my teammates.
One of those talented players back then.
Yes,
he was tough as anybody around to try to stop. I don't think anybody could. Even Dudley couldn't stop him over at A&T in that big game you guys won over there. So
the bus is still synonymous. And then obviously I can't take nothing away from Deshaun Russell.
Oh, yeah.
Not only was he physical, but probably one of the fastest backs that I've had a chance to kind of lay eyes on and definitely play with. This year, Davon returns as our starter, who started as a sophomore, just shy off 1,000 yards as a sophomore. He returns as a starter. And we did have an incoming transfer, which which would be a load at quarterback, which allows us to run two-quarterback system, which is Tyshawn Fields. He's about 6'1", 230 at quarterback, so he's going to be a load to tackle with the talent that we have on the outside as well, not trying to give away too much offensive stuff. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how it plays out from an offensive standpoint.
Sounds like he's kind of got that Cam Newton and that Russell kid used to be in the SEC kind of as far as the field goes.
Yeah, I agree.
You're going to run him quite a bit then,
I always want to protect the kids first, just play within their strengths. I'm never married to a game plan. It doesn't matter whether that's offensively or defensively. We just want to tailor whatever we do to fit our kids' skill set.
Well, you tell those guys sometimes they don't have to go to math class to figure it out. If you get 3.5 yards to carry, you got a first down, so let's go 10 yards. Just give me 3.5 every time. But that quarterback needs to get you a half a yard or a yard, and he's big as he is. Let's go off that right guard, right tackle, straight up, in the middle. Yeah, and those are the kind of plays you got to run to get the job done and kind of maintain you want to maintain the possession of the football. If you've got it, the other team can't score.
That's it. Hey, slow down, make good decisions, allow guys to make plays, and try not to have negative plays. I feel like we do that, we're going to be in every game.
I see you working on special teams in the first part of practice. Kind of on those, but I did see that punter push one about 35, 40 yards. He's definitely got a foot on him.
That's Darius Chukwuemeka. He's one of our returning athletes from last year. We'll see him a little bit at quarterback this year as well as in the slot. He pointed phenomenal for us last year. He's one of my best kids. I would like to say I like to brag on him because he's one of those guys that just does everything right. Great leader. First in his class in terms of academics, over a 4.0 GPA. So when you got those kind of kids, you want to make sure you shout them out, number one, but those are the program kids that you kind of want to build around.
Looks like he could probably play some defensive back too if he had to.
He could, but I got to protect him because we're using him a little bit at quarterback as an athlete. You're also using him in the slot that he punts for us, so got to protect him. And then I feel like we're deep enough on the defensive side of the ball where I don't necessarily need him right now. We got a lot of guys returning. We got a lot of playing time from last year.
How's it looking at the foundation of the entire program, the JV program? How's that looking as you build there and try to get that team going?
Well, last year we had probably record number of kids in terms of JV. I think at one point we had about 70 kids. We finished the year around like 60, 63 kids. A little bit lighter. I know with the school schedule we'll pick up more kids as we kind of get into school, and our schedule is favorable for that, not having an early JV game, so we'll still have some kids kind of incoming as we progress. Like I said, we were young last year. A lot of those guys are going to play this year that were on JV last year. And we just kind of want to build around that, give them an opportunity to play. If they're one of the best 11, we're going to put them on the field. Doesn't matter what grade they're in.
You'd love to keep those 60 guys together for a few years, too. Keep them together and coming through the school together and doing a lot of stuff together, I guess.
I think right now, if I'm being honest, just looking at our roster, I think we're only 3 or 4 seniors in. I inherited about 18 seniors, I think, last year that I lost, who I was their 5th head coach. So, like you said, if I can keep those young guys doing the right thing, building around them, and then I only have 3 or 4 seniors this year, I think we're in a great position. Not only this year, but for the future, because we're going to return almost everybody on both sides of the ball again after this season.
And you mentioned guys like your punter. You got a few kids probably in the Smith Academy too, I would think.
Yeah, so that's why we had to shift to evening practice. I got kids at the middle college. I got kids at the academy who started school on Tuesday. So in an effort to make sure I don't miss them in the practice, we had to shift from our normal morning practices to make sure I can get them over, which is a great thing. Good for them to get going early. They get in a routine. And then when the other kids who are at Physical Smith, they just kind of already are acclimated to that evening or afternoon practice.
Yeah, nothing like afternoon practice to kind of simulate what it's going to be like when you get going for sure when school kicks back in, and you'll be playing a game before school starts. That's kind of strange too, but you guys got to get ready quick because August 23rd will be here, I guess, 2 weeks from Friday coming up.
Well, it's a blessing and a curse, and I'll say that. One, the weather's been kind of funky this week, and it looks like we're going to get rain today and the rest of the week, so with them canceling, tomorrow, it kind of forces another practice Friday, and then the positive is we'll get 2 scrimmages in before we even head into that game, and then pretty much you're getting 2 games in before you really even settle into school, so you're kind of primed for conference play before you really get the kids going with their school schedules.
Have they already cut you out of practice tomorrow? I can't practice tomorrow because of the weather?
Yeah. Guilford County sent out a memo today that pretty much closed the academies, closed the middle colleges, no band, no athletics whatsoever. So we kind of lose that day, which forces us to have that kind of mandated practice ahead of us.
But you could come back in Friday and be in the Bob McAdoo gym that day, possibly?
Yeah. We can still practice Friday. Obviously, weather bearing, we're good here, we're good on the turf fields or in the gym if we need to be. Either way, we're going to make sure we get it in and be prepared for our scrimmage Friday with Palisades.
So is the scrimmages coming up on Friday or Saturday?
Saturday.
Palisades, who else?
So you got Huff, who will scrimmage Charlotte Catholic, and then obviously Benell Smith, we scrimmage Palisades out of Charlotte, which is a fairly new school. This is their third year in existence, 4A school. So it's going to be some really good ball, a lot of great athletes. You got kids with a ton of offers all over the place, so it gives our kids an opportunity, one, to get out and play stiffer competition, and also kind of look at some of the programs that I'm familiar with coming out of Charlotte that do it the right way, and head coaches who are building and competing at a high level.
Yeah, you get around Charlotte Catholic and around Huff, teams like that, it's good just to hang around those guys, see what's going on, and learn some things too.
Absolutely. Coach Baker, who returned to Huff this year, he was the OC there for a number of years while I was at Vance, so we've had a chance to kind of compete against each other. He's doing a remarkable job there in terms of the culture, and he definitely does a hell of a job from an offensive standpoint. And then you got Coach Simmons at Palisades, who I've known also, who spent some time at Vance under Aaron Brand, so he's familiar to understanding what culture needs to look like in terms of being tough, physical, fast. He's a track guy as well, so I'm sure his kids are going to be ready to go as well.
I guess over at Catholic, Coach Otter retired, the Coach Brodowitz took over. I think he's gone now too, isn't he?
Yes, sir. I'm not familiar, so I apologize with the new head coach, but yeah, Brodowitz was there for a great amount of time. Obviously, his record speaks for itself. His championships speaks for itself. I am looking forward to meeting the new head coach. I haven't had the chance to kind of connect with him, to kind of see what they look like on offense too. If you're familiar with, Charlotte Catholic, that wing tee, spread tee, whatever they're calling it now, but that system starts in elementary school for them, and they're uber successful in what they run.
I'll tell you one thing, people may have missed it, but I happened to be around, lucky enough to catch it. Elijah Hood versus TJ Logan at Wake Forest State Championship game, and TJ got the best of him, and Elijah comes to Dudley the next year. They're going for that game-winning drive, left-right toward the Dudley Fieldhouse end zone, and Dudley stopped him, I guess, on 3rd down and 4th down, about a 1.5 shot. They get the first down. Catholic wins that game, probably win the state championship. But we saw Catholic come through and saw Dudley get out of Catholic one year too, and Hendon Hooker was on the team and able to, and Dudley picked up a scoop and score. You probably heard about that return for the fumble for the touchdowns.
One of my best memories of Elijah Hood, they playoffs against Independence. And he had a heck of a game, probably one of the most physical runners I've had a chance to watch. That's just a load for 4 quarters. So that's just old school ball back then. But definitely Catholic versus Independence, sold out crowd, physical ball. Having to tackle 230, 240 back, that's 6'2", 6'3", that's nothing to play with, at the end of the day.
It's a situation calls for it. You've got that 6'1", 230-pound quarterback, so I wouldn't mind seeing you guys use that a little bit too to your advantage.
Yeah, we'll definitely try to be physical. Like I said, we'll be a lot more run first this year. Still going to take my deep shots. I'm not getting away from that. I got 2 6'4" guys on the outside. That are basketball kids that can run like deers. Another basketball kid, Micah, who we convinced to get out here his senior year, and he may arguably be one of our best receivers, in his first year out here. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does and how he performs. So we're still going to throw the ball deep, not going to get away from that, but we will be a heavy run first team. At the end of the day, nobody wants to tackle 6'1", 6'2", 230.
Tell you one thing, too, if you ever get that for the left side of that offensive line, if you get the eligibility remaining, if you get Coach Clarence Waddell out here, put him on the left side on that left tackle spot, if he has some time left to play, you can put him up there. I'm sure he would be a good lineman for you, too.
Waddell may be having too much fun coaching basketball right now with Coach Partee, but he's definitely been out here for some of our practice. He's at every game. I've known him for, God knows, since I was in high school. So, he's a great supporter, and then obviously one of our assistant basketball coaches. I love what he does as well with Coach Partee. But, yeah, them guys are out here, man. They help, just kind of inspire some of the guys.
Well, giving you the green light to pick up a few basketball players, sometimes basketball coaches have that kind of authority and sometimes that kind of influence. They say, hey, you guys don't want to lay out, but giving those guys green light to come join you, that's a positive too, to maybe encourage your kids to come help out the football team a little bit.
Absolutely. I got 4 basketball guys out here right now. I think we had 4 or 5 last year. Our number 1 receiver was a basketball kid last year. Our second leading receiver was a basketball kid last year. So at the end of the day, I'm grateful that I have a head basketball coach who understands culture, sharing kids, building championship programs, and that in order to get there, kids got to play multiple sports. They play basketball, they play football, they run track with me as well. And I think if you look across any championship programs across the state, those kids aren't just specializing in one sport.
And that'll get you across that white line pretty quickly. Try to get toward that 5-5, and then that 6-4, then that 7-3, and
Absolutely.
Keep building from there.
Absolutely. Name of the game is playoffs. That's how I'm looking at it. How many other games it takes us to get to the playoffs, that's where we want to be, and then build on that.
Coach Lash, thank you for your time. Busy man, but I appreciate you taking time to talk to us. Good luck on the season. Always fun to hear about the things here at Benel Smith High School, by McAdoo Gym, the stadium called Manzi Stadium, all these good things around Smith going on. You guys keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. Good luck to all the coaches out there. Thank you.